I'll come to your specialty now, ma'am. You deal with stroke. For a layperson, could you please explain what stroke is? What would be the warning signals, and what are the behaviors and factors that increase the risk of stroke?
So stroke, Suvarna, is in a layman term, it's been called a brain attack.
Mm-hmm.
So, brain, is a supercomputer. Well, that's again, something which you're asking me questions and I'm assimilating what you asked and I formulate what I should, answer. What are the right words and the gestures and everything, which we take it for granted. Every action in our life that we're doing, we are alive, we are conscious, and we're thinking, we're talking, we're walking, everything. The actions or the life as such we take for granted is being commanded by the brain. So every single, little millimeter in the brain is overheading those functions, and it's the command center. So, and there is a blood supply which is going constantly to this organ, which you rightly said, it's weighing just around 2 kilograms. And that is it has no storehouse. So unlike a liver, unlike other organs in the body where there is a storage space, brain has nothing to store. So it needs a constant and blood supply, which supplies the oxygen and glucose, which are essential to keep it ticking. And when such a blood supply has been compromised either by a clot in the blood vessel or the blood vessel ruptures, so there is bleeding, and therefore there is no blood supply going to the wherever it needs to go, then that area of the brain quickly dies. So it's just like this, like if somebody is getting strangulated, somebody is, catches hold of someone's neck, and you see within 3 minutes, the person loses consciousness because there's no oxygen going there. So it is within minutes that the area will start getting destroyed, and it may die if we don't again supply the blood back immediately. So that's a basic tenet, and the brain attack is where such a thing has happened. Therefore, the function which that part of the brain is overseeing is suddenly altered or lost. So there would be a sudden loss of consciousness if that area of the brain, which is in the middle of the brain, which is called the brainstem, gets affected, or there would be sudden loss of vision. There could be sudden loss of speech. They could be, suddenly the angle of the mouth is altered, it is deviated, and there is loss of power in one hand and one leg, which is a classical presentation, what is called as hemiparesis, pakshagat, lakwa, whatever you call that. Sudden loss of a balance, sudden splitting headache like you've never had. Headache is something which is very common. Everybody, I believe everybody who has a head has a headache. But this is a headache which you've never experienced before. There could be, an epileptic attack. The sudden, sensation of revolving or something called vertigo with intense vomiting, and they can't walk. Several varieties of what is defined as suddenness of the whole thing.
I see.
Happens in minutes. The second is altered function. Okay, so unlike a heart attack, which is where there is sudden chest pain with sweating, okay, the presentation of brain attack is protean because it depends upon which part of the brain is overseeing which function. So in this, we have a public mnemonic called FAST, F-A-S-T, which we've also changed to B-FAST, B-E-F-A-S-T. Now, essentially means B is for balance, sudden loss of balance. E is for eye, sudden loss of vision. F is face, where there is sudden, muh teda ho gaya, the sudden deviation of the angle of the mouth. A is when you ask them to raise their arms and one arm falls down. S is speech. That is, there's an alteration speech. He can't understand what you're saying, or he's talking gibberish, or he's not, there's no word output at all. And T is time. Time is that time is brain. Just like time is heart muscle, time is brain. So B-FAST is a mnemonic which has been translated to several Indian languages as well. And this is actually a part of our awareness program for public, that if this happens, then rush to an emergency. And this is stroke is an emergency.